and welcome back to Flying with TFC. So here we are, technically in orbit around Mars, sorta, kinda. Although that path is a temporary one because without doing anything, we'll just kind of blow right on past Mars, curve around and end up who knows where in the solar system. So it's time to set up a deceleration burn. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, first let's reference Mars on the map and target Olympus base, which is located on Olympus Mons, which, as a trivia point, is the highest volcano, the tallest volcano in the solar system, reaching some 26 kilometers above the Martian plains. Okay, let's see. New encounter. Now let's bring TransX back up over here. Go to maneuver mode. Wait a minute. Let's bump the date up a little bit so that I have time to set the maneuver up. That should be decent. Alright, now I want to bring my minimum altitude down low. Right now it's at 81 kilometers. I need to bring that down low, and I'd like to bring the off-plane distance, which is the distance to the base, bring that down low as well. We'll see what we get. Okay, that's the wrong direction. Oh, a finer setting here. And minimum altitude 240 kilometers. Drop it down. And I want this to be really low, like in the neighborhood of 20 kilometers, because instead of getting into orbit by reaching the periapsis and doing a long burn to decelerate, I'm going to use the Martian atmosphere to decelerate in an aerobraking maneuver, which, if it works, okay, that's good right there. This isn't so good. Let's see if we can fix that with some plane change. That's the wrong direction. See, I can bring that down. Yes, I know my minimum altitude is going back up, but I should be able to compensate for that. Off-plane distance down to 37 kilometers. Now let's go back to outward. This is not working out right. Okay. Let's just reset the plane change. And just get our minimum altitude back down to where it was. Not that. Okay. I think 20 kilometers is reasonable. See what we get with negative prograde. Have to bear with me. I've never actually done this. This is actually my very first attempt at this. I was going to do some practice runs before recording it, but I decided to go ahead and just try it anyway and see what I get. I may fail like crazy, but hey, what the heck. Okay, I'm going to go with that. We have 12,000 seconds until burn? I don't think so. Reset that date and try it again. Basically, I just want the date to be greater than this, so I have time to set up and make sure the maneuver's right and get into position. I do not need okay. Now we'll go through the rest of this. Alright, that fixed that. Time to burn 6,000 seconds, which is a little over 2 hours, so we'll go ahead and warp time ahead. Get into position. Get closer to the time, and then we'll see about... Whoa, 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 whoa. Damn, time acceleration. It gets you every time. That's better. Now,
rotation.
Get rotated into position, which is going to be just about almost retrograde, but not quite. This will be a fairly short burn, 180 meters per second in delta V. That will get us into a position where the minimum altitude will be in the neighborhood of 17 to 20 kilometers, which will be dipping down nice and low into the Martian atmosphere, where we can use atmospheric drag for a brake. Now we're 600 seconds away from the burn. Warp time ahead just a little bit. Okay. Adjust position just a little bit. Ready to burn in 15 seconds. This close in, I'm not going to mess with the time compression. One, zero, burn.
Translation.
going to be close enough, I think. Turn off maneuver node. I can get to it. There we are. Okay, closest approach 17 kilometers. We've got, we're probably not lined up at the base very well, but that can be corrected later. We still have plenty of fuel, well over 50% fuel. And by doing things this way, we will have plenty of fuel for maneuvering around in Martian orbit once we get there. Alright, now just a matter of warping ahead until we get closer to Mars. Alright. Here we are on approach. Get a little bit closer. But not too close yet. Alright, let's switch the HUD over to surface mode. Wait a minute.
Rotation.
Helps. You're using thrusters in the right mode. Rotate heads up. And there's how it looks as we're approaching Mars. We're still almost 3,000 kilometers out, or that's our altitude from Mars. We'll just warp in closer. Keep an eye on this. Whoa. Okay, I'm going to keep an eye on that altitude. Stop right there. Look outside. Yeah, we're getting in close to Mars here. It's time to get into the correct position. And for that, I'm going to use the attitude hold autopilot. And I'm going to be having this thing pitch up pretty high. About 65 degrees to start with. So we'll go ahead and engage that.
APU auto start. Center of gravity shift online.
And the way this is going to work here, we're coming in almost flat against the atmosphere. And when we hit the lower reaches of the atmosphere, this is going to provide a lot of braking, and it will be almost completely free. It costs 180 meters per second in delta V to get into position to do this, which means we will be able to decelerate into Martian orbit almost free. 36 kilometers and dropping in altitude. Our velocity is beginning to drop. Hull temperature is beginning to go up. And it will probably turn red at a point. We might even get some plasma. Let's hope we don't get too hot or too much of a problem, because, like I said, I've never done this before. I'm just kind of literally winging it. I've seen some videos showing how, but I've never actually attempted it. So we're all in this for the first time. We're climbing. I need to drop that angle. Obviously I had it set too high because we've bounced off the atmosphere. That's what it looks like. We've lost some velocity. But not yet enough. And we're climbing an altitude. This is bad. Yeah, things are cooling off. Going way, way sub-zero. That means that in this attempt, I missed. I can't tell you whether I had the angle too steep or what. I may have. Which means that I will be trying this again soon, because clearly I missed. If I accelerate time, see the altitude climbing, you see this?
Information. APU
I
running.
didn't want to hear that. This indicator here, our position along this curve, which is our orbit path. And we are just blowing right on by Mars because my aerobrake was not successful. Just accelerate time, we're back up to 3,000, go on. Eccentricity is greater than 1, which means we are not in orbit. The eccentricity would have to be less than 1 in order for this to be any kind of an ellipse around Mars. So we're leaving town. I need to load up, save, and try this again sometime real soon, and I will. Thanks for watching. Next time, perhaps we will succeed.